Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and we turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions online, topics of sex and dating, we answer them for you guys. Or we find the same questions from our incredible listeners, and we answer them again.
Wait.
Nailed it.
What?
I made it sound like we only find them. I don't know. We find them online or we get them from our incredible listeners who, might I add, have never been more incredible than the last week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we really bungled our launch, but we didn't realize there was a verification process for Patreon.
We bungled it a little bit. It definitely wasn't live when we said it might have been live. Don't worry, this time it is live, and it has been live for almost a week. But so far we already have 6 patrons, which is fucking amazing. Like, I wish I could just teleport you into my body so you could feel the gratitude that I'm feeling, because it's incredible. And we really, 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 really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody who has already signed up to support us. And thank you to everyone who will sign up to support us, just in case because we're recording this before you hear it. So if you signed up in the interim, I'm still thanking you.
Yeah, I also want to note that it's technically only been live like a little over a day, and we have 6. I know we said
that's actually true,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's been live for a week when you hear this, but for us currently, it's been live for like just a little over a day. So as Nell said, thank you. It's so fucking cool to see you guys supporting us, and it really does mean a lot for us. If you do want to contribute and join, you just head over to patreon.com/fbuddies. Or you can visit our website at fbuddiespodcast.com, and there's a Patreon link that you can click, and it'll bring you right to the page. Just a little glimpse. For $3, you become a patron of the show. You get our undying love and support. For $7 a month, you get a bonus episode called Pillow Talk, which is us being a little more loosey-goosey with the rules. We kind of go a little more free flow. And you get that once a month, you get a bonus episode of that. And for $13.50, you get the bonus episode, you get our Undying Love, and you also get priority question access. So you can, anytime you send in a question, yours will go to the top of the list.
Ready for a question, Dane?
I sure am.
Did you ever watch Supernatural?
I watched the very first episode and like the first 5 minutes of the second episode.
Okay. This is from the Supernatural subreddit. If you're as hot as Dean, do girls act like that in real life? Alright, so stupid question. I started the show and I'm season 1, episode 20. I was just wondering, do guys think that in real life girls hit on you as easily as Dean if you're that good looking? Question seems stupid because it's a show. I was just asking myself. Anyone that hot could confirm? Guy barely has to smile and he already won. Thanks.
Is Dean Jensen Ackles or the other one?
Jensen Ackles, yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm not as hot as Jensen Ackles, so I don't know.
That's the thing. No one is. No one can answer this question.
I'm sure there are guys out there who do not have to put in a whole lot of effort in their life, but it's the James Bond effect. It's the leading man effect of you want your main character, especially if the one of their traits is like being a seductive womanizer. Of course women are going to be pulled to him because they're written that way.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's like, I mainly just found the question very funny, but it's like, there's such a danger in looking at TV and stuff and taking it so realistically.
Yeah.
It's nothing is ever going to be like that because that isn't reflecting real life whatsoever. It's a show.
Doing this podcast has actually really ruined a lot of TV romances for me, especially like ones from older shows, because 9 times out of 10, on-screen romances are the most toxic, manipulative, just like no communication. Like 9 times out of 10, any problem, any on-screen couple, like any problem they have could have been solved with like a 5-minute conversation of being like, oh, actually, no, here's what happened. Cool. From my point of view, this is what happened. And then just, trusting each other. And like literally 9 out of 10 shows just wouldn't have a plot.
Yeah, it's funny as well because I saw a post on Twitter and it was basically like, oh, everybody complaining that like all the relationships in YA are like toxic. It's like, yeah, they're meant to be toxic. No one wants to read about like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I disagree and I hate that because like, for example, one of the most kind of like popular YA novels of the last while. I don't know if I should name it because I don't know. But either way, the person who wrote it, she has a romance between the main lead, who's a female, and this guy who beats her. He like kicks the shit out of her, and then goes to the next chapter, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's a dreamy, romantic, like blah blah blah," and like the fans love him and ship them, and I'm like, he kicks the shit like.
Yes.
And it's not even like they spar and he's like, showing, like, there's no excuse for it. There's nothing. And it's like, it's consistently terrible. And people always portray it as being good. And it's like, no, the reason why this shouldn't be the case is because you're teaching people the wrong thing. I mean, it's all good for you to be like, no, it's meant to be bad. And it's like, yeah, but you're portraying it as good. And you're putting people into the head of this person who says it's good. And I don't know. I fucking hate it.
I look at like any of the big like 50 Shades, Twilight, like all those relationships are so
Twilight, it's stalking, pedophilia, breaking and entering, like, you know what I mean? Because like he's hundreds of years old and she's not legal.
Yeah.
Like he breaks into her home and watches her sleep, and that's portrayed as romantic. Fucking Christian Grey like stalks her to her like family home and like messes with her finances and shit, doesn't he? Didn't we do this before?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing of him like signing like she signs a contract that only he like gets to see or so. I don't know the whole details, but like the whole thing is a like laughable farce of what an actual like dom sub relationship is. Like at no point in time is it a realistic portrayal or a healthy portrayal of a dom sub relationship. It's and like that's we've come a long way from what the question has asked, but you need to understand, especially when basing your life on TV shows and media and stuff, it's like you're never going to have the success that a character who is being written by someone else has. Like you will never be as wanted as a main character in a romance book.
Yeah, because it's wish fulfillment and it's unrealistic.
And it's also your existence isn't solely dependent on that. If that makes sense. Like the whole reason this character exists is to be, the womanizer or to be the object of desire. Like that's...
Now, to be fair, he does also kill ghosts, puts them to rest. He salts and burns a lot of bones, so it's not his only thing, Dane. It's, come on.
I was speaking
I'm just trying to make a funny supernatural joke.
To be fair,
great show, by the way.
I don't think I've ever seen him fight a ghost. I don't remember what the first thing in
the first episode is, in fact, them fighting a ghost.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember there's a fire. Where's that?
There's a lot of fires. They got some real nice like fire effects going.
Good job, Supernatural.
Yeah, you did it.
I'm probably the only podcast host who hasn't watched Supernatural, I feel like.
You know what? If we reach our first goal, I'll make Dane watch Supernatural.
I do need a new show.
It's very good.
Are you ready for a question?
Yeah.
This comes from Accomplished Table 34. I want to have sex, but my parents want me to wait till I'm 21. I'm 19 and about to be a sophomore in college. I'm leaving for the dorm soon, and my mom knows I have a boyfriend. I feel ready to have sex with him, and he's a really good guy. There's a lot of stigma around having sex in my family because there's a history of abuse and abortions. However, I know to use birth control and a condom, but they still want me to wait. But I think because I have sex with him that I'm going to be controlled by him. If I'm being honest, I really don't think that will happen, and I really want to do it, and I feel like I'm ready to do it with him. But my parents' advice is kind of making me feel guilty about wanting to do it. If anyone has any advice, please help. I'm really conflicted.
Unfortunately, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe this shouldn't be my advice, but like I don't think you should always do what your parents want you to do.
No.
I think your sex life has nothing to do with them. And the very fact that you know why they're saying this and also how to, not fall into those same circumstances seems positive to me. And it's like you're going in with your eyes open. You're old enough. You're 19. That's, not young, really. In turn, you're not like too young or anything. You're definitely old enough to make decisions. You're going to university. It's like, you don't have to fucking tell them, but you are old enough to make your own decisions. And it's like, once you do it safely and responsibly, and again, you mentioned birth control, so you seem to know that, I see absolutely no reason for you to wait. If you feel ready and you do the healthy things, such as listening to this podcast or, just doing some research and making sure that you do have birth control and that you also use it and that you use it properly, fuck it. Do what you want to do.
Also, like the arbitrary difference between being 19 and 21.
Yeah, that's insane. Also, it's like, did this just happen? Or on 21, are they going to call you and be like, hey, you can do it?
Yeah, you are now, they bring you a candle that just says you could fuck now. Or
Yeah,
like on your
like
cake, your birthday cake, it's just like, you can fuck today.
yeah, I feel like it's an arbitrary ask, and it's not their place to do it. And again, as Dane says, 21 to 19, what's the fucking difference there, really?
Like it'd be different if you're being like, you're 14, please wait, until you're 18. I still think that like they don't really get that, but at least it's like being like, you're still a teenager, like at least wait until you're of legal age.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
like
mean?
14 is pretty fucking young any
Yeah.
way you shake it, you know?
But like to split hairs, the difference between 19 and 21 is 2 years. Like that, like I don't think much is going to change from
The
then till
only
now.
the only thing I could think of is that they're worried you're gonna like drop out of university or something as a result of maybe getting pregnant or making bad decisions because of
Yeah,
your relationship or whatever. But it's like, again, that could happen anyway, and that's on you to either happen or not happen, right?
but
So it's
like
like,
like even if she has sex at 21, gets pregnant, like whatever the plan was after college is probably also going to get disrupted. You know what I mean? So it's like
mhm.
it is an arbitrary.
Oh no, I totally agree. I just think like for me, that's probably the only thing that might even make a lick of sense.
See, I think it's probably just like they're probably American, and 21 is like
Hmm.
is the drinking age, and that's your adult age, even though you can vote and all that shit when you're 19, I think.
Yeah, fucking drive.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think parents, once you're an adult, I don't think parents have the right to control your sex life or dictate what you're ready for or what you can handle. Like I think that is far beyond, and hopefully their intentions are admirable, and it's not just like we can't handle another embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
hopefully it's
Or
not.
just a control thing, right?
Yeah, so hopefully it's not that side of things. Hopefully they're just like, maybe you have an older sister that went through some shit, and they're just want to protect you and make sure that you don't go through the same. But it's also unfair to put the, other mistakes or, circumstances of another person on you, as if every person is destined to, like, if you don't follow a set path, you're going to do the exact same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Also, you have sex and now you're going to be controlled by someone. That's a kind of a wild
yeah,
thing to go to.
it seems like a very strange family feeling about sex as well. So
Yeah, sex does not make you give up your autonomy usually, and if it does, I'm not sure we can help you.
I assume it is related to the abuse that she mentioned. Like it,
Yeah, yeah.
again, probably an older sister or another sibling
Well, you
probably
can
went
be
through.
abused before you fuck. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's abuse. Definitely, like sex isn't the on or off switch for abuse. It might be involved, but it's like you can fucking abuse people no matter what. So that's also kind of arbitrary. I feel like sex is one of those things where it's like people outside forces should be like kept to a minimum. It's like if someone was like, "Hey, you need to go fuck," and you were like, "I'm not ready," we wouldn't even talk about this. We'd be like, "No, that's insane."
yeah,
So the fact that you are ready and you seem comfortable and you have a boyfriend and you're confident and aware and taking things into account and you're an adult, fuck it. I
yep,
think you should go for it, and you don't necessarily even need to tell them because again, it's your sex life, right?
yeah. You're living off. You're not living in the house, so there's no chance of you getting caught. Like as long as you're being responsible and safe, and you are confident that this is what you want, I don't think
Mhm.
there's any harm in pursuing a sexual relationship with your boyfriend at this point in
Mhm.
time.
And you know what? If anything does go wrong, don't then feel like you can't contact your family if you need help or advice or anything like that. Because fuck it, people make mistakes, and it's like by the sounds of it, other people have. So it'd be really shitty of them to judge you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just in case worst comes to worst. I don't want anyone to feel trapped in a like because then it retroactively becomes a bad decision and you're like they were right and you'll feel guilty and shitty and like you can't come clean to them and it's like being safe and being cared for is more important than possible like shame that you might feel or I told you so's.
Yeah.
So don't let that hold you back just in case things do go bad. But like it sounds like you have your head on your shoulders pretty firmly, so do what feels right for you and do it safe.
Yep.
This is by Tower Dependent 9806. Worst sex he has ever had? We were playing that Piccolo game, and things led to one another. My boyfriend said to his friends how I'm the worst sex he's ever had when I'm on top. I
Yikes.
don't know what to think or say to him.
What's the Piccolo game?
That's a great question.
Is it just like isn't that a Dragon Ball Z character, Piccolo? It's Piccolo, right? Pretty sure it is.
It's a hilarious party game in teams or one by one. Answer question, follow the rules, no matter how wild and crazy they get. Whether you're at the bar, hanging at home, Piccolo will be your best friend at every party. So I assume it's like
Oh,
an adult like question game.
yes. I think I played this actually with Amanda and her friends one day at a bar. It's just like it's almost like Cards Against Humanity, but when you pull a card,
Mhm.
you have to like answer. Yeah, yeah, okay. It just sounds like he either, were you guys drinking? Like it's not a good thing to say. You should never tell your sexual partner in front of friends that they're not good in bed, regardless of how you actually feel.
Even if you're going to tell them they're bad in bed or whatever, it's like that's a conversation you should have in private, and you should have it like tactfully.
Yeah, it's
And
one that needs to be dealt with. There needs to be a little bit of comfort. There needs to be some bubble wrap around that conversation in order, because like sex is, as you'll see with pretty much all my questions today, sex is a pretty sensitive subject for a lot of people, and a lot of people have a weird relationship with it. And
yeah,
you telling them that they are the worst you've ever had is not going to make that any better.
yeah, and that's the thing. Even if there weren't other people around, just blurting it out suddenly, not great. But like with friends and putting them on the spot at a party, like that's a super shitty thing to hear and feel. And like, there's no like, oh, he's playing the game. At least he played it well, because that's not playing the game well. That's shit.
And also, like, even if that is like in the rules, you should be able to, as a human being, understand like that sometimes other people's feelings come before like a game. You know what I
You ever
mean?
heard of a white lie?
Yeah. Like I
You
like I
know,
would love to know what the question is. Like what was the
I
question that spurred this answer?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like, what was the worst sex you ever had?
Maybe. And like to his credit, he does say only when she's on top.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like
Which maybe was like the part of his brain that was like, no, dig up.
yeah. I mean like maybe it was also just sort of like he in his head he's like the best sex is with her except when she's on top. That it's not good. You just have to be a special kind of dumb. And I'm not saying that it's impossible for someone who's not an idiot to say this, because we all say stupid shit, especially when we're drinking and like wrapped up in sort of like the oh moment.
Yeah, and maybe like I would love to know if one, she had said something about him that he felt
Mm-hmm.
salty about and was kind of like backfiring with, or if like two, everyone was ragging each other's partners and he was like, oh, we're cool too, I'll do it, and then just shat the bed because obviously you didn't love that.
Yeah, like I would love to know if it was meant intentionally or if it was just meant to like, it was meant like as a playful, haha, we all hate our wives
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Or maybe he's so awkward and he wanted to bring it up, and this was the way he thought was the best way to do it, which again, I think we can both say not the best way to do it. Our advice will never and has never been wait until you're playing a drinking game with your friends and then hope that you get a moment to bring up your sexual problems with your partner in
Yeah.
front of everyone they know, because then they have to act on it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is bad news and you fucked up. I don't know really what I think like you definitely need to have a talk with your partner and be like, "Hey, so what you said the other day really hurt me. And
Mhm.
I need you to know that." And you know what I mean? And hopefully he will apologize. Hopefully he'll be like, "Yeah, no, I fucked up. I said something really fucking stupid." And then hopefully, hey, bonus, maybe you guys can address what you're doing when you're riding him.
Yeah, but definitely don't like let this go. Like, don't be angry and silent. You know what I mean? And then get to it in a few weeks or whatever. Bring it up. Don't be afraid to be like, hey, what you said was shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What you did. I don't like, true or not, that's not the way this should come out. And like, you should have the wherewithal to care enough about my feelings to not kind of like embarrass the shit out of me in front of my friends.
Yeah.
Once that's done, and once hopefully he acknowledges that he's done wrong and hopefully acknowledges he will not do it in the future, then you actually have to talk about what he meant and, hopefully build on that, which sucks because it's like after being embarrassed and being upset, it's not exactly the mindset where you're like, cool, now how can I fuck you better?
Yeah.
But so maybe give it some time, but I think talking about that is like, if you don't deal with that, it's a wasted opportunity, because I don't think he's going to feel confident bringing it up again.
No.
So don't pretend it didn't happen as well. You know what I mean? As shitty as it is, I think you should still work on that.
I would love to like. There are so many times where I want to be a fly on the wall of these questions, of just being like,
Mhm.
I'd love to know what the vibe of the room. Like, did everyone laugh and she kind of like had to forcibly be like, yeah,
Yeah. Or
or
did it just like
just
fall like a
crickets?
flat, like a fish? Just like,
Yeah,
what?
Was it
Fall like a
just
fish. Wow.
that
The
classic
new
phrase?
the new dinner with a prince. What's wrong with my brain? Did it just meet silent like crickets? And everyone's like, okay, next question, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, right, Brad. I guess it's your turn. And like the next one is like, do you like when your wife rides you?
Everyone's like,
Oh
oh no.
no. This comes from Wonder Woman and a bunch of numbers. Showing someone you're interested in a relationship without making it weird. I, a 27-year-old female, have not had any trouble finding, flirting, and getting guys interested. I do have trouble healthily moving from that stage to the dating stage. My lack of ability in this area has meant that I usually attract very confident men who are comfortable asserting themselves and moving things along, requiring little work from me. And unfortunately, some of these men have been quite toxic. So I'm trying to find a normal, emotionally mature man, but when I meet a man like this and the chemistry is good, I end up freezing up and coming across as if I'm not interested. So they want to find a way to come across that they're ready for a relationship without seeming desperate because they don't want to ruin the chase, and also that isn't too serious because they're usually fun and flirty in the initial stages and they want to keep their flow.
It's just a weird question because it almost sounds like they just do absolutely nothing usually. Like just absolutely nothing, and someone just kind of goes, "Nah, you're coming along for this relationship ride."
Yeah, it certainly does sound like that, doesn't it?
It seems pretty easy just to be like, "Don't do that." Maybe just say something. I'm worried that they're firmly like the chase thing, ruining the chase or whatever. I feel like that's the crux of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they one day went on seduction and were like, "Oh no, men only like the chase." Like they listened to that fucking Taylor Swift song where it's like, men only want love if it's torture or something.
Yeah, there's one thing that I bet seduction is doing, and that's getting their advice from Taylor Swift.
Well, I'm saying this person also. They got it
Oh.
from seduction and or this Taylor Swift song. And I think a lot of people are like to be worried about like, oh, I've ruined the chase. It's like no one's going to be upset that they know that you like them unless they suck. And if they suck, you're doing yourself a favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, look, I get it. That initial phase of like, oh, I don't know if they like me or not. And you're like kind of testing the waters and you're being flirty. Like, I consider that the chase. And I love that. That is a very, very fun part of the initial relationship. The chase isn't being vague or
Mm-hmm.
misleading or not communicating. Like, that's not part of the chase. Part of the chase is when you guys haven't quite gotten, like, the chase for me is when you haven't quite gotten enough information to know whether or not that person is into you. And it would be weird to ask. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and the
that's the
thing is,
chase.
the chase happens no matter what, and it's very natural. And it's like that period of just like excitement at the start of anything. It's not a thing you need to construct because it's going to be there regardless.
Or
And
prolong.
you trying to construct it or prolong it is just you being so off-putting and also just like confusing.
So the thing is like, I think the problem is you've confused what the chase is, or
Mhm.
when the chase happens, or when the chase is done. Because what you've described, the part that you're good at, is the chase. That fun, flirty flow that you have, that's the chase. But then you're then not letting go of that. So the dude is just like, I don't know if you're into me or if this is just who you are because you haven't done
Stopped running.
Yeah, you haven't done anything different. So it's like,
Mhm.
for me, I would probably read that as like, oh, this is just her personality. There isn't actually a connection here. She's just a fun, flirty person, and that's kind of like that's what our vibe is. Granted, I would probably also like at that point just be like, do you want to grab a drink? Like you know what I mean? I'd Hail Mary it, and if she was like, oh no, thank you, then fine, whatever. Then we will keep this fun, flirty flow going.
And that's the thing. I feel like she's saying a lot of people either don't do that or like that's the thing. It's like if you get to a point and you have been doing this whole chase, but then they've never really slowed down. A lot of people are just gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna like put myself in an awkward position. I'm not gonna upset her. I'm not gonna like pursue her, even though it seems like she doesn't want to be pursued, and step away. And that's, I think, quite admirable.
Well, those are the emotionally mature men who are doing,
Exactly,
yeah.
right? And there's nothing wrong with like what Dane was saying, Hail Marrying it to a degree, but it's like it sounds like she then just goes with people who will not stop pursuing her, and then she's like, oh, they do like me, lol. And it's like she just kind of ends up in a relationship, even in these situations, without necessarily telling them she wants to be in one. Again, it sounds like. So that's my worry. It's just that phrasing was very specific.
Yeah.
And I feel like, there is no chase to be maintained, right? Like, once you don't turn around and be like, hey, marry me. You know what I mean? Because she did say she doesn't want to come on too strong or make it seem too serious. And it's like, unless you're turning around and saying that, I think you'll survive.
Yeah. I mean, like asking someone, like it's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the dude out for drinks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it kind of pissing me off because like you're just taking no responsibility for your shit. You know what I mean? Or like I guess you're kind of trying to by making this post, but it seems like before that you weren't. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, a guy's gonna pursue me, and like I guess he's gonna ask me out, and it's like take responsibility. It's you. It's your life. It's your relationships. You should be able to, at the very least, participate.
yeah.
And it'll be better for you because like when you have an active role, presumably you'll be able to weed out the people you don't want and more actively pursue the ones you do want.
That's the thing. It's
Both
like,
of which are great things.
I don't understand why anyone like the idea of like it's still pertinent of being like, I'm a woman, call me old fashioned, but like I don't message first, or like that kind of stuff is like it's so tired. And like I get it, like it's, you know, you want to keep this air of sort of like the gentleman, the like the male takes the lead, but it's like, why? What do you get out of that? Like what is the benefit of this? This makes no sense to me.
I feel like the only benefit is like laziness or like, you know, it's scary asking people out. It's scary stepping up, but like one, guys have to do that every goddamn, well, not every day unless you're seduction, but you know what I mean? Like we've been doing it our entire lives and like you know, you guys should be more than able to do the same thing back, you know? Take control of your own sex and dating lives because just waiting for the person, you know, who again, great people can reach out first and great people can take charge in a relationship, but like also not great people do that quite a lot because the hallmark of not caring about someone is like pushing past perceived lack of interest, etc. So it's like when you're being passive, it's, you know, there's a larger chance maybe of, you know, attracting a worse person because they're not going to care about, not going to sit back and be like, oh, maybe they don't like me. They're just going to be like, YOLO.
Yeah.
There's no harm reaching out to the people you like because then, yeah, sure, they might be shit too, but like, at least you find out. At least you're active.
Yeah, you need to decide what you want, and if it's to like if you find someone you like, then pursue that. Don't, you know what I mean? Like don't play this weird game of like they gotta get me, there's a chase. It's like, no, that's not how it works anymore. I mean, it does, yes, the chase exists, but it's not as prolonged as a lot of people think, as I've said. So take a little bit of responsibility. If you want to stop being a passive participant in your relationships, then be an active one. It really is that simple. And I know we joked about that being the answer at the beginning of this, but really, at the end of the day, all you have to do is turn around and the guy that you're having this flirty fun with, be like, hey, let's go grab drinks after work.
Yeah.
You've done it. You did it.
Boom. Now, that's so easy, yeah?
That dude's going to melt. Like anytime a woman asks me out,
it's the best.
I'm always so enamored by it. I'm always so impressed by it. I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like I give women like a leg up against other women when they do that, because I'm like, chances are you're not held up on like weird societal norms. Like you're doing something that you want to do because you want to do it and you're confident enough to do it. And it's like,
confidence is sexy. It's not just like confident guys aren't sexy, like overconfident women. Confident women are fucking sexy as hell. Yeah. It's like, what could be more confident than stepping up and doing this bold thing? Like, it's awesome. It's really great to see. So, you know, I'd like to see him more.
Yeah, ladies, tell you right now, ask that guy out.
Do it.
Do it.
And like, if it doesn't work out, who cares? You know, a lot of things don't work out.
But I mean, like that's like literally like that's just dating.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So I have two of the exact same question.
Okay.
One is, how exactly do you ask for consent to kiss a girl without sounding like a loser? I believe it'd be weird asking someone, can we make out? And is it okay for a guy to ask, do you want to kiss me on a date?
No. I mean, like,
it's not okay?
Sorry. Yes, it is entirely okay to ask consent to kiss someone. I think there's a level of confidence that you need to say it with. I don't like if you do it meekly, I think it's going to come off weird and creepy a little bit. But I think that, I mean, my go-to was I never really asked of being like, hey, can I kiss you? I would always just say, I would love to kiss you right now. I wouldn't go for the kiss. You know what I mean? Unless the feelings and the vibe was there. But like,
Mhm.
if I wasn't sure where I stood with someone, I would just say I would love to kiss you right now. And if they were into it, guess what? We'd be kissing. And if they weren't, they would either they would look away, they would giggle shyly, or they would make it clear either verbally or non-verbally that that was not also something they wanted to do.
Which might change later on. And the best thing is, at least by then, you've kind of expressed your interest.
Yeah.
So, like, ball's in their court. And it's like, if they don't want to, that's fine. If they do want to, it's like, you've already, like, mentioned the taboo subject. I think 100% it's a thing I always do because like waiting for the right moment and like angling and like you get weird when you're trying to be like, okay, if I stand here, or if I like go here and put my arm and like, you kind of like, they know what you're trying to do if you're like weirdly like tilting your head, like staring at their lips and like trying to like zone in for the right time, or you just wait till the end when you hug them and then it's awkward. Like, all these things are not great ways to do it. Whereas you could just be like, exactly what Dane said. I will say, don't do what I have done upon occasion and be like, I was like, would you mind if I kissed you right now? And they said, yes. And I said, oh, okay. And then they were like, what? And I said, would you mind? And they're like, no, I mean, yes, kiss me. So don't phrase it in that weird way, because that's definitely happened to me like twice. Make it a simple yes or no, when yes means kiss and no means no kiss.
Yeah.
Don't get weird with it. Because it was very funny. Like, they thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. The ice was well and truly shattered after that. But yeah, just make it straightforward. And I think Dane's way is very good because it's confident, it's flattering, it's nice, your intentions are clear, but like, you're also not asking them a question.
That's the thing. Is
You
like
know what I mean?
the reason I would do that is because it wasn't there. We live in a time where asking someone something, there's still a lot of pressure. Like, women still feel a lot of pressure to say yes to things. And I don't like putting people in a yes or no situation of being like, can I kiss you? Because I don't want anyone to ever think like, oh, if I say no, this could go badly. So
Also, like, even then, it's like no seems like very rude, right? Can I kiss you? No.
yeah,
And it's like, you're not really giving them any other option than yes and no could cover like a variety of things, but like, it is almost like very black and white when not everything is.
yeah. So like, I would always say I would love to kiss you right now. And I would sometimes say it even when like kissing them wouldn't be super appropriate, and that would be my cue to like hold their hand. You know what I mean? Like, I would do it
Like at church.
At church, family gatherings.
When there's another person standing directly in between both of your faces.
but things like, so one
When
of the
they're
times I
getting
did
married.
it was at like concerts and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to stop and make out in the middle of like a concert of like a band that we both really like, but like,
Missing out.
just leaning over and saying like, I'd love to kiss you right now, and then holding their hands. Like, I think that's also a great way to build sort of like a little bit of sexual tension. You get like the butterflies from that. At least I do.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, it's similar to being like, oh, I would love to fuck you right now when you're out, and then it's like you're constantly thinking of, with people that you're already having sex with,
Yes.
or having a very flirty, positive thing with, not just random people. Obviously, I don't think I need to state that, but I felt the need anyway. It builds anticipation, because that's all you're going to think about until it becomes, a reality.
Yeah, so that was like my rationale behind like not saying can I. State your intention, and then they have every right, because like, also the more like casual the situation is, like if you're at like the door at the end of the night, there's a little bit more pressure. But like, if you guys are just at a bar and you guys are like really vibing, and maybe the light's looking great on her, you got candlelight, dim light, whatever, you could just like from across the table be like, I would absolutely love to kiss you right now. And then like, there's no pressure, but like, you've put it out on the table. You know what I mean?
Now, I would say, like, if you guys haven't kissed yet, maybe try to say that at a time when you could kiss them.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like if you do it at the wrong time, they might get confused. Because, like, if you want to kiss them but you can't, they'd be like, what? Or, like, maybe they're like, oh, no, he's going to kiss me at this really awkward time.
Yeah, true.
I think it definitely works more after, like that kind of building anticipation after you've kissed, and like you want to do it again, and it's like a little, oh, it's coming, you know. But I think for the first one, say it like the night's going really well, you've progressed to your final bar of your pub crawl or whatever, you're sitting in a semi-dark bar and you're like side by side, and you kind of just catch each other's eyes and you say, I would love to kiss you right now. And then you go in and you kiss, and it's amazing.
Or it's terrible because she's a bad kisser, and you just said that in front of her friends because you just pulled the card and you had to do it. You had to do it.
Yeah, instantly turn back like, yeah, her. Bad kisser right here.
Real bad. She's so bad. Guys, I got the card, though. I had to say it. You're bad. You're not good at this. Man, is there anything worse than a bad kisser?
Bad kissing is terrible.
I think like I would take someone who's not great in bed over someone who's not great at kissing.
Now, kissing is part of being good in bed, though, you know? So,
but like, imagine having like really good sex and she's on top and she's killing it, and then she's just like tongue fucking you. You know what I mean? Like, it would completely ruin sex. Whereas, like, if I was having a really solid makeout during a lackluster sex session, I don't think I'd mind as much.
Fair.
That has nothing to do with the question. It's just something I thought about.
No, it's true.
Work on your kissing game, y'all.
Work on your kissing game. Get out there. When you're fucking someone, say, I would love to kiss you right now. And then don't.
And then don't.
Give them the old 1-2. You got one for me?
Yeah, this is Inner Cow, and it's kind of like a free-form question.
Oh.
All right? Unexpected truths about having sex? Unexperienced here. Just want to ask, what are some other realities about having sex that I should be aware of before doing the act? Anything you've discovered that you might want to share?
I'm trying to think of things we haven't already said.
Well, we'll rapid fire some things. Like, there's no harm in repeating some of the stuff we talked about. One, the first thing that I always like to tell people is it's clumsy and it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
it
people,
should be fun.
Yeah, a lot of people think of like sex as porn, where it's, you know, like they have their perfect angles,
almost like sterile,
yeah,
in a sense, where like everyone's clean and trimmed and there's no fat, and it's like the perfect angle that your leg is tense and your vagina is shown to the world and your penis is glistening, and you know, that's not real life.
No,
and
there's gonna be noises, there's gonna be sounds coming out of you, you know, you're gonna bonk heads every now and then, like all these
someone
things
will fart one day.
Yeah, all these things happen, and they shouldn't, like, a lot of people get real weird about them, but these are like those sweet, beautiful moments during sex that you should cherish, in my opinion. Like, the moments that, like, again, we've said this 1,000 times, the moments where, like, something silly happens and you guys are laughing but still fucking are just chef kiss. Mwah, mwah, love it. I live for those moments.
100%. That's the thing. It should be, like, the onus should be on fun more so than, like, perfection. Because, like, sex isn't perfect in that way, you know what I mean? Things aren't, as Dane said, like clean and straightforward and like pristine and all that shit. It's like, it is messy and it is all those other things, but like that's why it's so great. So don't like strive for this weird like porn perfection and like hit your angles and like stoically like set your jaw and all this shit. Have fun with it because it is a collaborative effort. It's a team sport. And I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Like you're in this together. It's not I'm fucking you, but you're fucking me. And like they're separate, distinct things. You're both working together to do something massively fun.
Yeah.
And it should be fun for both people.
Yep. 100%. One of the big things that, cause I was with my first sexual partner for 4 years. I had never, had sex with anyone else. So when I first started sleeping with people that weren't her after we had broken up, and we kind of had a question about this. I don't remember what it was about, like the, you know, vaginas feeling different or whatever. I was shocked at the variety of sensations of like when I fingered someone, when I would go down on someone. Like it is really a sort of like unique snowflake situation, at least with women. But I imagine it's probably pretty similar for penises as well, where you're gonna get something different every time. There's gonna be a lot of similarities, but like you're gonna have someone whose clit is like, you know, might as well have a neon sign on it, and you can just, you know, go to town on that thing. And then other times there are gonna be times where it's like you're gonna be like, I don't know where this is.
It's like a meek, shy little maiden.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people who hate when you do, you know, touching a nipple, for example, at the wrong time. You know, maybe they only like their nipples being touched
at all
at the end of sex or never or at the start. You know, you might have someone who like just hates having a finger in her vagina. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the gamut of different things that people like or don't like. Or you have someone who likes you biting their butt really, really, really hard. You know what I mean? Just on the butt cheek. And that's strange to you and difficult. And maybe you're worried you're really hurting them, but that's what they're into. And like, yeah, I'm never going to replicate that with anyone else, I don't think, because as far as I know, that's not a thing most people are into. But hey, and that's why I think being good at sex isn't about like, oh, you learned this one trick.
Or
You
making
know,
people
you
come, like, you know what I mean? Like, being like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I know how to make women come. It's like, great, cool. I'm sure they appreciate that, but like, are you fun? Like,
well, even more than that, it's like it's not like like even just being like, I know how to make women come. It's like, well, every woman's different, so
yeah,
you might be very good at sex, but being good at sex is being open and being vulnerable and being adaptive and
Mhm.
being considerate. And that's not what we mostly get told. You know what I mean? It's like the ability to give a shit and listen and be empathetic and, you know, put the work in, and all these things are what makes somebody good at sex, because everyone is different and you have to learn them and you have to care enough to learn them. You
Yeah.
know?
Yes, a new sexual partner is like a new video game. It's like you might know, you know, the controls are probably pretty similar, but if it's a good video game, it's probably got their own mechanics.
100%.
Something
And
new you
like,
got to learn.
and it might, like, some people are a different genre of video game entirely, you know,
Yeah.
and all your controls like now that's inverted.
Oh
But like
Christ.
the thing is,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I get inverted controls, I'm out.
but like that I think is the more like your mindset and like your willingness are way more important than like mystical like techniques, which to be fair don't really exist. You know what I mean?
No. It's like, again, I'm pretty confident in some of my abilities and some things, but like there have been times where I've been with women and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like all the
Hmm?
things that all my like superpower hits, all of my like, you know, greatest hits here are not working. So, and it's
Hmm.
like at that point, that's when you talk. You know what I mean? That's when the communication happens. That's when the sort of like figuring out, and like those are so much fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like learning how to pleasure someone is the best feeling. You know what I mean? Whether they're a new partner, an old partner, it's like when that like it's almost like unlocking a safe when you hear that last deadbolt clink into place and you're like, hell yeah. Like there's no better feeling than just fucking rocking someone's world
Hmm.
because you've worked together and because you care and because you can like intuit and be empathetic and like give a shit. And like that is far more important than most things you'll probably be told about sex.
Yeah, and like there are times I'm really really receptive to like heat. So like if it's really hot, there's a good chance like I might not finish. You know what I mean? Like at least way back in the day, it's not so much an issue now, but like back when I was sleeping with multiple different people and new partners and stuff, it was like the amount of times that like sometimes I just wouldn't finish but still had a fucking blast. It really does come down to like sex needs to be fun. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it needs to be fun, and your definition of fun can be completely different. It doesn't have to be goofy and silly. Like if you like just being absolutely manhandled, as long as it's being done safely and consensually, like if that's what fun means to you, fantastic. But like,
And fun can even mean different things to on different days. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like sometimes you want to just have a frantic fuck. Sometimes you want to go achingly slowly. Sometimes you want to like get weird with it. Sometimes you want to drop that like yodeling joke you made about sex like 2 years ago, and you know it's the perfect time to do it.
sometimes you want to have really
And then
bad
you do it.
allergies and just sneeze in a vagina.
Yeah, don't do that. But sometimes you want to.
Sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you
For
don't.
new listeners, Dane once did that.
Yes, if you
Not on
haven't,
purpose.
no,
And not happily
I
either.
have bad allergies, and you know, everyone knows when it happens, it happens. You can control sneeze.
I guess also just like sex isn't, I don't know. It is pretty important, but like when you're younger or like sometimes over like just kind of over exaggerating the importance of sex internally can really fuck up ever getting sex or having fun with it. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
absolutely. As
Like
someone who
it's
required sex as validation for a large chunk of his sort of like my 20s. Yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. Like one of the most important things that you can do at an early age, especially before you've had sex, is realize that like having sex does not make you a better person or a more worthy person. Or
also, not having sex doesn't make you a less worthy person or a worse person.
Sex is like an add-on if you want it. Sex is, you know what I mean? Sex is something that should enrich your life, not your life shouldn't depend on it.
No, it shouldn't consume you or be that like gauge by which you measure how happy you are with yourself.
And if you're not into sex, if you have no desire for it or don't like look for it, if sex isn't a priority for you ever or currently or now, that's fine. You're not broken. That's, you know what I mean? Like it's things that happen to people. People go through cycles. If you are worried about it, talk to a doctor. Go see a sex therapist. There are things you can do. You're not broken irreparably. Take your time. Relax. Like 9 times out of 10, we get so in our heads about sex, and it's so detrimental to having sex and enjoying it. So
you could also be asexual either. You know?
Absolutely. And which again is literally nothing wrong with you.
No, not at all.
If that's not something you want, that's fine. You can have plenty of rewarding, relationships and loving relationships without sex, with the absence of sex. It's completely possible. So to you, good sir, thank you for not asking us to compare food to sex. Thank you for just asking for things.
That was actually the last thing I wanted to say. Sex is like, when you go out for steak, but then they only have shrimp, but then the shrimp is like really good, but then you realize you have a shrimp allergy, but then it's like a good one.
And you also have yogurt back home, which is also
yogurt
there.
Everywhere. Yeah.
I'm excited for you. I hope you go the right path and not the wild ass path that some people take with sex. Good luck. We love you.
Hell yeah. All right. I think that's time for Tinders.
Time for Tinders.
All right, I'm going to hit you with one.
Okay.
So we go through Tinder profiles. We point out the good, the bad, and the horrifying. This is, I believe, a Hinge snippet. My real life superpower is being able to smell when a turtle is around.
The fuck? That's upsetting to me because now I'm smelling like that smell that's in like aquariums. You know what I mean? Like that smell you smell. And that's upsetting to me. And it's a sensory memory that I don't want any part of.
What's your grade?
I'm gonna give. I know with Hinge, I know there's more to it, but with this snippet of it, I'm gonna give it a strong 3.
Really?
Yeah.
See, for me, this is very intriguing because it's a wild statement to make, and I need to know more.
You're correct.
And the best part is, the person who shared this also shared the snippet of them asking for more.
Fantastic.
Joe, I'm gonna need some more info on this whole turtle thing. And he says, so basically I was just born with a nose that can track turtles. Like, people don't believe me until I'm usually sitting somewhere and then say, there's a turtle near. And then I find it first try. Don't know why, but it's my hidden talent.
That's fucking wild.
Doesn't answer any more questions than...
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, again, I hate it because of the sense memory that it's bringing up to me. But I mean, it's pretty cool. I would love to be able to do that with something. You know what I mean? Imagine just being like, there's a chipmunk nearby.
Oh, man. I would love to smell chipmunks. I bet they smell lovely, like popcorn.
I bet they don't.
Probably not.
They're a wild animal.
Yeah, wildly cute. I'm going to give it a 9 because it's fascinating.
This is Raha, and they want you to take on me. No. Sorry.
I was going to make a Raha blast joke.
Look, you don't want me fat and flat. I don't want you short and bald. Don't be a baby. There's someone out there who finds your George Costanza looking ass adorable. Must be minimum 183 centimeters or 6 feet to apply. Yes, very shallow, blah, blah. Just take the honesty and go. Recently returned after working 3 years abroad. Will likely head out again next year, but until then, what it do, baby? And then a winky face. 100% not trying to be your wife.
I'm giving it a 0.
Okay.
They seem like an asshole. They seem like a very bitter, judgmental asshole.
It's tough for me because I think it is kind of funny. But at the same time, it's like, if that's the crux, if that's what you're putting on your Tinder profile, it's like, that's all I'm getting of your personality. And it's like, I have no idea. What do you do for work? I don't know what you're into. I don't know.
Well, she's into people who are a certain height, and that's it, apparently.
Yeah, that's
not bald.
So I'm giving it a 2 because I feel like we could come across far worse than this. So I'm not giving it a 0.
Yeah, but it's like they're being like they're making jokes, but they're making jokes about like kind of shitty things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I don't necessarily find it funny. I don't know.
I'm just saying, someone who rolls in with some like crazy ass KKK Nazi bullshit is going to get a 0 before she does.
Well,
I'm
I'll
just
give them a -10.
I'm just
So
hedging my bets.
okay, this is Demetria, and again, it's another like I think this is a Bumble snippet. My greatest strength is knowing all the moves of fuckboys and narcissists, and that's like that smile with the like drop on the forehead.
Okay. Something tells me maybe you don't. I don't know if that's a rude thing to say, but I feel like anyone who's always like, I hunt fuckboys are also the people who exclusively date terrible people.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably one of those things they tell themselves to feel better after yet another fuckboy shows up on
Yeah.
the radar. It's like, nah, I know their moves. I don't love it because it kind of like it's not expressly this, but it's reminiscent of that like weird like bitter like energy of like, oh, why are men all fuckboys, and like it just you sound so wounded and jaded and bitter, and it's like I don't need to know that. That's your greatest strength, really? There's nothing else you can bring to the table?
Yeah. I mean, like,
It's a 5.
it'd be cool if you were trying to make friends with women, but, like, as a dating profile to attract men, like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. I'm giving it a 3. This is Hillary. Gyms are reopening, and if you don't swipe right, you'll be sorry. I'm planning on becoming a solid 6.
I like that.
I do too.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a little disparaging, but like I can sense the humor in it. I hope. I like it. That's very funny. This is Trish. I have goblin energy. # bald girl summer. My obsession with iced coffee is borderline
10.
problematic.
10. I don't need to.
My life is a mess, but I'm funny and give excellent back scratches. You gotta take the good with the bad. I have a toddler, so there's always snacks on hand. Christmas is a season, and I will not be convinced otherwise. Disclaimer, I am not a chill girl. I have all the opinions. They come out loudly. We'll fight. I'll cry. Buckle up.
Oh, god damn it.
I know. It was so good.
Up until that last section, even the toddler, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
if you have kids,
okay.
it's fine. If you have snacks, it's even better.
It's also a really fun way to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I like until the end of being like I don't want to fight with my partner.
No.
Like, that's
and
not...
also like fights can happen. And fights will happen, and that's fine. But fights like being like, "Oh, we'll fight. We're going to." It's like, no.
To definitively say that
fine.
this is the like a part like a mainstay of our relationship before it even like starts is not like I've been with Amanda for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've had like 3 fights. You know what I mean? Like it's and they were important ones. Well, no, I think some of them, probably most of them, are bullshit. But like we've probably had like 3 real fights.
Yeah, but like fights happen,
and that's the thing. Yes, those are
saying that.
Those are an unavoidable thing of living with someone or dating them or being with them. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen. Of course it is. But to imagine that being a distinctive trait of our relationship. No.
Yeah.
It could have been so good, Trish. Goblin energy, please.
Right? Bald girl summer is fucking great.
Is she bald?
Goblin energy? Yeah. She got like a buzz.
Like a shaved head?
Yeah.
She's checking all the boxes.
It's such a great profile that like I remember when I read it to the end, I was like, because like, look, I have all the opinions. Cool. Like no one's asking you not to have opinions. They come out loudly. Like, okay, you can have opinions and not be weird about it. We'll fight. I'll cry. Buckle up. It's like Jesus.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
Maybe that's
so sad.
Hey, maybe that's goblin energy.
No, she likes to set things on fire and hates horses.
This is Theresia?
You never gave it a rating.
It's a 1 and a 10 at the same time.
It went from a 10 to, I'd say,
it's a
1.
It's a out of 10. This is Thesia. Let's grab Boba so you know I like having balls in my mouth. And her Instagram and 5'2".
Okay, I think it's funny. I'll give it a 10.
Yeah.
I like it. Whatever.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, it's funny enough. I like the like sexual energy in there. You know,
yeah,
little wink, wink,
wink, wink.
And lastly, for me, this is Dana, MMA all day star, not a casual.
Now, is she saying she's not into casual like relationships, or she's saying she's not a casual MMA
I'm
fighter.
pretty sure she's saying she's not a casual about MMA, that she in fact wants all day.
Yeah. Listen, I'm cool with you having hobbies, but like if I'm gonna have like a quick little snack before work, I don't want to be thrown into like a rear naked choke.
And that's why me and Dane don't live together.
Specifically. Like, if you're MMA all day and not a casual, I feel like I'm gonna get real hurt.
It is weirdly aggressive. You know what I mean? It does sound like you are going to fight me.
Constantly. Non-stop.
Yeah, like just an onslaught until, I guess, like it's like survival mode, I guess. Horde mode, but it's a horde of one.
Yeah, it's like, if I just tap out, will you stop? Or is it like...
That's when the relationship ends.
Yeah, you take... It's not a breakup, it's a tap out.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite intrigued.
It's terrifying. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Also, she has incredible abs.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Incredible. I knew she was not a casual just from seeing them.
I assume that, like...
I'm giving it a 7.
I assume all of her body has abs.
Basically.
Like, she flexes her arm, it's just boom, a six-pack. This is Somto. This is my final one. And Somto says, nope, this app has brought me bad luck.
No, what do you do? What? Just... perfect. The perfect profile. My first 11.
The picture is like the branches of a tree looking at a window. It's pretty good.
What's happening with this person's life?
Samto, please just get off Tinder. You don't have to be here.
You don't have to
Unless,
be here. Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. And that's what's brought them bad luck. It's like the lottery numbers in Lost.
It's like the one wandering businessman who can only date on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening, friends. This has been our episode. We're all done now, but we do have some time to thank you for spending time with us, for contributing to our Patreon, for everyone who has checked it out or has signed up. If you enjoy the show, maybe consider swinging on over to patreon.com/fbuddies or visiting us at fbuddiespodcast.com, clicking the Patreon link, and, helping your boys out.
We also bumped into our first listener in the wild the other day, which was absolutely fucking cool as shit. So hell yeah for that.
Yeah. Yes, that was very wild.
Love it.
If you have a question for us, you can hit us up on that same website, fbuddiespodcast.com. Hit our contact form. You can fill out your agent name. You can let us know what's on your mind. You could just say hello if you want, but if you have a question, we'll keep it completely anonymous. And if you want, you can sign up to your Patreon, get that priority access. Otherwise, we will answer your question as soon as possible.
And that secret episode is coming soon?
Yes, it'll be at the end of August, the first episode of Pillow Talk. So you haven't missed out on anything yet. You still have a chance to get in on the ground floor and get the first episode of our bonus podcast, Pillow Talk, as soon as it drops.
Hell yeah.
But it's only till the end of August, and then you're a late adopter, and everyone will know. We'll still love you. We'll still love you.
We will, but they'll know.
They'll know.
They won't. We won't tell them.
We won't say a word.
It's between me and you. Thank you to Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities for their song Paper Stars. You ready for some terrible bad sex right now?
I sure am.
This is a comment from online. There's no context, but you don't need it. Sorry, but any man who says they don't care about whether a girl has a flat stomach or not is lying. They absolutely care. And before any angry feminists try to attack me, don't even bother. Wanting a girl with a flat stomach doesn't make us bad or superficial. It's just evolution. It's not like we can help it. If a girl has that bump on her stomach, it's a dead giveaway she's lost her virginity. And even if some guys nowadays try to deny it, a virgin female has always and always will be the ideal date for a man, ideal mate for a man. That little bump is their uterus showing, and it appears when a man ejaculates inside her vagina, because when the sperm enters her uterus, it will swell so much it becomes visible through the skin. Take it from someone who's taken his fair share of virginities over the years, lol. Non-flat stomachs are only ever hot if you're the reason they aren't flat anymore. Not including pregnancy, because pregnant bellies, frankly, look gross.
What?
This person is, I think, the biggest scientist known to man. He's got all the facts.
I'm glad that we don't record this with video, because the face I made during that was a contorted, twisted mess. Because every second it continued,
it just got worse.
I couldn't be more upset by. Does he think that someone who's got washboard abs are all virgins? That's what, also, that you can have sex and not ejaculate inside someone, right?
This person has to have never had sex, right? I think partially the reason why he wrote this thing was so that he could say, "Oh, as someone who's taken lots of virginities," it's like,
I've
dude,
got them stacked up, baby. I got all those virgins, that big belly virgins.
Yeah.
What? Fuck me. This is terrible. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm not Spain. I'm very sorry I brought that to the episode.
And we have been your fuck buddies.